everyone. My name is Himeet, and I'm an engineering manager at Riot Games. I work on the localization technology team at Riot, which is responsible for bringing authentic cultural experiences that resonate with players around the world.
And can you tell me about the ex-teamers working at Riot Games? What are some projects and where they really make a big impact?
For sure, yeah. So ex-teamers are completely embedded within our development team. They are just like rioters, working on a common problem space to deliver major business objectives for the company. They contribute, actively to create diverse, easy, and even faster integration options for our game developers with scalable automation in place.
It's so amazing for us as an organization to work with a brand like Riot Games. You have such a strong brand. Every developer, when they think about going into being a coder and all that, they usually think, oh, I get to work at a cool game company. So for ex-teamers to have the opportunity to work at Riot is a really big honor. What are some of the ways that being an endemic fan of video games can translate into making an impact as a software engineer at Riot?
Yeah, good question. So let me dive a bit deep into the history and the birth of Riot Games and the most famous game, League of Legends, right? So the birth of League of Legends was more about a philosophy than a design document, as described by our founder, Mark Merrill, in his own words, right? So Mark Merrill and Brendan Beck were college buddies, both studying business at University of Southern California, who bonded over their love for video games. They recently started playing a popular modification of a Blizzard Entertainment's Warcraft 3 called the Mod, as famously known as Dota, the Defense of the Ancients, which took real-time fantasy strategy game and basically created a set of rules that had players controlling two sides of the powerful heroes to take opposing sides' base. But the mod was an extra download created and maintained by fans, and that lacked a level of polish and was often hard to set up. This is when they thought that Warcraft 3 mod didn't just clear the birth of a new genre of gameplay called as multiplayer online battle arena or MOBA, but it also proved the viability of a still relatively young concept in gaming called as games as a service. With games as a service, a video game just isn't developed, released, and then forgotten, right? It continues to grow, iterate, expand, offering new content without ever releasing a sequel. Think of it as this way, right? Games become something more akin to a television series than a single movie. So this is where I think the combination for the love of video games and engineering that really makes an impact for a software engineer at Riot.
It's amazing to hear the origin story. You see such a big company. I've had the pleasure of visiting your offices a couple of times, and it's really quite a big expanse. It's, I think, one of the coolest offices I've ever been to in the world, with all the games throughout it, the sounds of the games playing through meeting rooms and all that. It really is a child's dream, I think, to be able to work at Riot Games. From an engineer perspective, what technology is important for an engineer to know in order to be an expert in working on platform technologies?
I mean, definitely a craft-specific skill are a must for an engineer, right, to excel in their scheme or in their work on platform technologies, right? But I feel like one of the most important thing for an engineer to be successful is the eagerness to learn and basically be curious about how things work, right? Computer science is an evergreen field, and we constantly have the need to basically keep ours up to date on the latest technologies, programming language, scripting, whatever comes into picture in developing an effective platform technology.
And X-Team's been working with Riot Games for, I think, close to a decade, and we've had hundreds of ex-teamers work through Riot Games. But if I can ask you, what is one story about an ex-team engineer that really went the extra mile to make a difference on your team?
Let me tell you about a project. We're working on a big project of migrating our database and search engine. I'm pretty sure most of this generation might have not even heard of this legacy database called RIAC, R-I-A-K, and along with a search engine called Solar, right? So it was end of life and lack of support, developer support, and we also had some senior engineers who were working on the project for quite some time but had to leave for different reasons. This is where extreme engineers jumped in. Basically, we were already in the process of hiring them and onboarded them. They not only jumped on this complex project, right, with very little information about the code, about the database, about the technologies, but they also helped us deliver it efficiently way before time. I was really worried that, because of all these unknowns, and I already communicated the delay to the stakeholders. But I think the Extreme engineers literally went the extra mile and really made a big difference to the team here.
And with that, what are some of the ways that the development X team is, are working on something that's made a difference in the final products that Riot will be shipping out?
Sure. So, at Riot, we continuously evaluate on how we can make things better, right? Automate things that can be done efficiently, right? Let me give you a simple example of the buzz around large language models, LLM, right? So we thought of how we can incorporate this in our localization world. So we literally swapped some of the items in the roadmap to take advantage of this space, right? The team was pretty new to this technology, like nobody knew how this works or had a pre-notion knowledge that was taught in school, but they did an excellent job, discovering this space recently and just delivered the integration with our services. This not only made like a huge impact for Riot, especially in delivering quality localized in and around game content, but also resulted in like a faster SLA and product to market for Riot Games.
Can I ask you, what has been the best part about working with X-Team in your experience?
X-Team always helps us keep moving forward. I just tell this to everyone, every partner or every stakeholder that we have, right? X-Team engineers are so motivated and they're like on board really quickly, looking for ways to add value from day one, right? I always say that it is very easy to scale software nowadays, but it is very difficult to scale an organization quickly. And X-Team makes this problem look very easy for us.
It's amazing. And again, like for such a high profile company that I'm sure every engineer would want to work at, for us to have the opportunity to be a part of that is really a true honor. Can I ask you personally though, what keeps you excited about working as a leader at Riot Games?
Excellent question, yeah. So Riot's mission is to be the most player-focused gaming company in the world, right? Riot always believes in putting like player focus that inspires the most meaningful and lasting game experiences, right? Another value which Riot has is stay hungry and stay humble. That literally resonates with me, basically, celebrating our wins, learning from our failures, and basically challenging ourselves to evolve and develop the next genre or the next milestone for the game, right? The combination of these two really makes me excited to work as a leader at Riot Games.
I love that. Himeet, thank you so much for having this conversation with us to talk about this amazing collaboration that, as I said, has gone for close to a decade with so many hundreds of engineers who have had the pleasure to contribute and be a part of quite a game revolution that Riot Games has had. We're really quite honored with it and look forward to many more years working together.
Yeah, same here. It's been a wonderful journey so far and would continue to grow up from here on as well. Thank you. Thank you always for your support.